Welcome to Patty's Aquatics. So in today's video, what I want to do is give you guys an update of the 65-gallon tank behind me. The one that I set up is a dirted tank for an Oscar cichlid. I'll put a link to that video right up here. I want to go over its progress, show you how it's doing, show you how the fish is doing, but I also want to reveal its name. In that video, I suggested people give me ideas for names for this fish, and the winner with the most votes would win. I will reveal that today. So that being said, let's turn this camera off this ugly mug and get it pointed at this beautiful tank, and I'll show you what's cracking. So this is the tank, and that is the fish. Now, I don't even know where to begin, but other than to say that these plants have just grown in big time. I think it's safe to say that out of all the dirty tanks I have set up, I've never had one where the plants actually grew in this thick, this fast. Now it's been, I don't know exactly how long, probably like a month and a half since I've set this up. And like I said, the plants are just everywhere. Now I did add a few stem plants since I first put this video out, but not that many. But I did add a few more plants, which I want to show you. This one right here in the back, it is a small species of sword. I believe it was called a rosette sword. It says it gets 8 to 14 inches tall, which is perfect for this tank. I have an Amazon sword out in my pond, which I kept in the pond where this tank was. I can show a little clip of that now. That's got little baby plants on it. Now I could plant them in here, but my concern with that Amazon sword is they get so monstrous. If I put some of those in here, they would fill up this tank within a matter of a year or so. And then there's just nowhere to swim for this fish, and I don't want that. So I like the smaller versions of these swords, and I'll explain why in a little bit. And then I have also this one here, which is the Amazon sword compacta. It's another smaller version of the Amazon sword. It only gets, I can't remember what it said, I think it was between 5 and 10 inches tall, which is perfect for here. Now, on top of that, with those crypts that I already did put in here to begin with, I think those are Wendenti red. Don't quote me on that, I don't remember. And then, it's hard to see, but in the very back there, I also did put in a couple of my crypt tropicas, which do get a little bigger. I think in that 8 to 10 inch range is how big that one has gotten for me. So why I put those in here, and the purpose of those rooted plants, the swords in these crypts, are for when this guy, which I'll reveal the name in a little bit, so let's hold your horses, and he gets bigger. If these stem plants he don't like them and winds up ripping them up, which I'm hoping doesn't happen, but if he does, I should have a plethora of these rooted plants that he's not going to be able to pull out of the substrate. Now, again, if you haven't seen that last video, he is not going to hit my dirt layer. I've got that egg crate in there. Go back and check that out if you haven't. I have my dirt, about 2 inches of sand, the egg crate, 2 inches more sand. So he will not reach the dirt. The most he can do, which is bad, but he could rip out the plants. Now, he is loving the plants right now, and that was the whole purpose of doing this and getting an Oscar that's young, that let it grow up with the plants and be able to know that that's its home and be used to them, compared to throwing an adult or a subadult into a planted tank like this that's not used to them. Well, he's probably going to rip them all out. And he still might, but I have a better shot of doing it with a fish like this that I got young. So, plant-wise, like I said, everything is doing fabulous. And he is eating like crazy. He is just like my puffer now. Every time I come down here in the fish room, he's at the surface of the water begging for food. So, and he's eating very healthy. I feed him every day right now. So, he is doing great. Plants are doing great. The one thing I did notice, which I'm not really thrilled about, can't really see it now, I'm starting to, what it looks like, get a little bit of some cyanobacteria on the surface of the sand. Seems to be a little bit back there. It's not touching my plants yet, so I know how to get rid of it. I figured it out in my puffer tank, which, by the way, I got the lights off in that tank now. It has started to come back in that tank as well, so I have a few other tricks up my sleeves I wanted to try, and I'm trying that in both of them. With this one, which I don't use fertilizers ever, and I tested the water in this tank, and I have 0 nitrates, and I tested for the phosphates. If you go back and see that old video about how I got rid of the cyanobacteria naturally within my puffer tank, which I'll link on here, my phosphates are very high in that tank. Well, they're not in this one. They're only at 0.5 parts per million. So what I did, just for the heck of it, to see if it makes any difference, is I treated it with all the fertilizer, Easy Green. I gave a dose of that. I did that the other day. So I'll see by the next weekend if there's any difference from that or not. I don't know if there will be, but it's all about this hobby and trying to figure things out, is just experiment. See what works and what don't. If it does nothing and it continues happening, then we just let it be, or we'll figure something else out. I can always try blacking out as well, which I might try in my puffer tank, to be honest with you. Just because cyanobacteria can get very ugly when it comes onto the substrate, but if it's not on the plants, it doesn't bother me too much. Anyway, past that. Beyond that, everything's doing great in here. And I also added a new piece of equipment. This is a wave maker, which I did get from Hygger. Hang on. It is a 530 gallons per hour wave maker that I got from them. The cool thing with this one is they sent me this for another project. It was for my Rainbow Shiner tank, which you should have seen that video already. And I planned on using it in there instead of that power head that I had, but I wasn't ready for that project yet. So I put it in here to try it out. And I actually loved it in here. It works perfectly. And Hygger actually had me test it a little bit. They wanted to know if it was too powerful for a 5-gallon tank. Now this wave maker was rated for a 5 to 20 gallon tank when I got it. And I did tell them I believed it was too powerful for a 5-gallon. But it worked perfectly, in my opinion, for a 20 to 29 gallon tank. So with my feedback, they changed the parameters as far as what size tank they recommended for. They changed it to a 15 to a 40 gallon. So it's kind of cool to have a company like Hygger that would be able to work with someone like me to test some things to get a better understanding of their products to help everyone out there as far as how to list it. So I will, in the description of this video, put a link for Hygger for this wave maker itself, and the Amazon link and everything like that in there if you're interested in it. Hygger, like I said, is a great company, and I love their innovation, and I highly recommend them. But back to the tank. Now, what else is new here? Well, before we get to that, let's talk about this name. This name, it was a challenge I put in that video. Like I said, I wanted people to give votes of what name they would want for it and put it in the comments. I had probably the most interaction off of any video I've ever had in one time span of a weekend, like I did with that video for that name, probably more than anything. It came down to 2 of them. First, there was Oscar, or Oscar the Grouch, which I kept them together as one. And then the other one came from the funny man himself, Gil, from Gil's Fish Room. He just wanted me to call this fish Sparkles all the time on this channel whenever I talked about it. So Sparkles was his vote. And then, of course, some people jumped along on that and thought it was funny. And it just so happened to be that Oscar the Grouch was up by 2 votes going into like a week later. Then all of a sudden I came home from work on a Wednesday and I was getting bombarded by comments on my phone going off saying Sparkles, Sparkles, Sparkles. I knew something was up. And there's another fellow YouTuber that's got a live stream on Wednesday, so I popped on his live stream, and sure enough, everybody that was commenting Sparkles, I seen in the chat, and another friend of mine, Chris Stubbings from Stub Aquatics, just happened to be a guest on the show, and him and Gil from Gil's Fish Room colluded and got everyone to vote Sparkles. So my Oscar's name is Sparkles. Sparkles the Oscar. So thank you very much, Gil. I appreciate that. But in all honesty, it doesn't bother me. I told my daughter that Sparkles was in the running, and she was laughing her butt off, but hysterically happy, and she wanted Sparkles to win. So in the end, she's happy, and I don't care. Sparkles it is. Say hello, Sparkles. So his name is Sparkles. All right, so Sparkles is his name. The tank is doing great. Now, one other thing I do want to talk about is I have been saying in some past videos that I am offering memberships to my channel. I have been for a while, but I haven't been advertising it. I'm probably not going to advertise it too much because I really don't like pushing that stuff. But I just want to say I do have 2 members, so I would like to give them a shout out now. First, my first member, who has been the one member I had on my channel for probably 4 months now that started, it is actually Father Fish. So I'd like to say thank you to Father Fish for the support you've given me over the past few months. And I learned a lot from you, and I appreciate it. Then also my other member who just joined up a few weeks ago is Jesse from Salient Aquatics. Thank you very much for the friendship I've found with you on this YouTube crazy journey we've had, and I appreciate your support. And I will put links to both of their channels in the description of this video, and I highly recommend, if you are not subscribed to their channels, to go check them out. And I very much am thankful for your support. And if this membership does grow, I have many, many other perks and ideas that I would love to throw at it. But that being said, there's no pressure either way. I don't care. I love making these videos. I'm a video guy. I know a lot of people do live streams now. Live streams are cool to watch once in a while, but I don't have the time to do it. I love watching videos. Videos are my thing. I love making videos. I love watching videos. So if you like videos, check out my channel. Anyway, that being said, this is the tank. This is the progress it's had for about a month and a half. I can say that without a shadow of a doubt that this tank is just doing fabulous. And I'm hoping when this guy gets bigger, when Sparkles gets bigger, that he will not be a tyrant and decide to destroy all the plants, all these beautiful, luscious plants in this tank. I have faith that he won't, but like I said, by doing it with him growing up as a small fish and being used to it, but time will only tell. And that's a big reason why I'm doing this experiment. You know, for people that love Oscars and love dirty tanks, it's always been a no-no. You can't do that. It's not possible. Well, I'm here to try it and look it in the face and say, well, I'm going to make it possible. I'm going to do everything in my being to make sure that this works. And if it doesn't, well, then it doesn't, and I tried it. You know, like I've said in numerous videos, I'm not one that likes to, you know, be held inside of a box that say you can and can't do this. If you tell me I can't do something, my personality typically with this hobby is prove it. I'm going to prove you wrong and show you I can. And if I can't, okay, move on to the next. But that being said, absolutely love this fish, absolutely love this tank, and I will continue to give updates and hope as Sparkles here gets bigger, that I can only prove once again that Oscars, dirty tanks, it is a possibility if you do it right. So with that being said, Sparkles here would like to say, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And always remember to think outside the box and take a step back into nature. Sparkles and I hope to see you next time here at Patty's Aquatics.